I think that your point on sort of trust is so important. I think trust in the system is very important before you carry out any reforms, and I think that's a great segue into our next question, which has to do with the NPA crisis. Now, you've highlighted this, extensively in the economic survey of last year about the hangover of the NPA crisis and how that's weighing down on both credit growth and investment that are, key drivers of sort of short and medium term growth in the country. In the same way, we've seen, the Atmanirbhar package sort of supports MSMEs using a lot of credit guarantees. Um, do you think the failure to resolve the NPA crisis to a meaningful degree before we came into sort of this crisis is going to impact our ability to facilitate credit growth, especially to MSMEs and not the larger sort of corporations who have access to the corporate debt market and financing in other ways?
So, Abhishek, I think, the question that you're asking is a very, very important one. I would, answer this by, taking a longer vision of the Indian banking sector. And, here I will acknowledge that yes, the Indian banking sector has, of course, over the last many years has done, good work in India. But now as the fifth largest economy in the world, we have to start benchmarking our banking sector globally. And I will use again, a cricket parallel here. Mahendra Singh Dhoni retired, about a month or so back. The reason all of us appreciate Mahendra Singh Dhoni is because the cricket team that he led, went and won all over the world. It basically, they won the IPL, the T20 World Cup in South Africa, the Champions Trophy in England. They won, the World Cup in India. So it's a team that acknowledged itself through its performances across the world. Contrast that to the team that that we had in the 1990s. None of you would have actually seen that team, but I have experienced with that cricket team. They were basically tigers at home, but were lambs abroad. And I used to really get very, very upset with that cricket team. The Indian banking sector today is like that 1990s cricket team, which actually is possibly can pride itself on doing stuff at the Indian level, but when benchmarked against the global banking sector, it's puny. For instance, if you take the global top 100 banks in the top 100 banks globally, India has one bank in the global top 100, and that's a 55th ranked State Bank of India. This is for an economy that is fifth largest in the world. If our banking sector was as large as the size of the economy, we should have had 6 banks in the global top 100. If you look at any economy that has grown and become a dominant economy, it is because of the support of the banking sector. The United States is a very good example, but take China and Japan. In the heyday when Japan was growing very fast, almost 18 of the top 25 banks in the world were Japanese. Today, if you take, there are 12 banks that are Chinese that are in the top 100. I think 12 or 18, but very large number. So if you even take countries like Singapore, Sweden, which are a fraction of the Indian economy's size, about 1/8 or 1/6, they have 3 times as many banks in the global top 100 as we have. So the Indian banking sector needs to basically invest a lot more in technology, leapfrog on technology so that they can use data, analytics, etc., to basically make sure that corporations cannot hoodwink them after taking credit. And this is where artificial intelligence can be so useful in using data and analytics to avoid default. You talked about willful defaulters, and that's something which is very important that the Indian banking sector gets over. I'll use this again I'll give an example from sport, this time from chess. There is this chess software, Deep Thought, that was created using artificial intelligence. This software ended up defeating the highest ELO rated player ever in the world, Gary Kasparov. And the software was not even taught the rules of chess. It was just, fed the games. It learned the rules of chess, learned the tactics in chess, and learned the strategy of chess, and defeated the smartest chess player ever in the world.
Right.
Why am I using this example? Saying, compared to the tactics and strategy in chess, the tactics or strategy used by a corporation to willfully default is childish. So if AI and machine learning can defeat chess, the chess player, defeating the tactics and strategy of willful default is childish. It's very easy, provided we basically just put our heads down to put together the data and believe in the power of artificial intelligence and machine learning, and leapfrog on this. So to summarize, basically, several difficulties in the banking sector, which is not enough credit, the defaults and NPAs, all those we can really leapfrog and circumvent by investing in technology. And this includes not only public sector banks, even private sector banks. Those private sector banks that have actually invested in, in data analytics have primarily done so only for retail credit to people like you and me, for a maybe a home loan or a car loan, etc. But not in, the large credit that is given to corporations. Our private sector banks also need to actually use far more technology and data and analytics to actually figure out models for corporate lending. And the 1,000 crore loans, ensuring that those don't default. So this is a huge opportunity for the banking sector, and that's something that they